Zombies had a long and bumpy road before making it to the very top. Even with its slow climb, there were many zombie cards to change the game. In this video, we will look at the very best and most impactful zombies the game has ever seen. Let's go over these spooky walkers from Magic's history. Zombies have been with the game since the very beginning. Throughout Magic's earliest years, zombie cards would get a taste of success in the tournament scene before being downgraded to the kitchen table. Although this kept recurring, some of them managed to creep beyond the conventional rules of the game. For instance, the card Drowned was one of the very first cards that was monocolored but had an activation cost that required a different color. The set Legends was the first time multicolor cards were introduced to the game, but the Dark added a new way to implement different colors on a monocolored card. Like with all creature tribes, there are lords. In the very first Magic set, goblins had Goblin King and zombies had Zombie Master. However, Zombie Master didn't give other zombies +1/+1. Because of this, zombies were never a good tribe to play with, and it lasted nearly 7 years before a new Zombie Lord was printed. Unlike Zombie Master, which only gives other zombies Swamp Walk and Regeneration, Lord of the Undead is the first creature that specifically gives other zombies +1/+1. It was printed in Planeshift, the second set from Invasion block. It also has another ability that returns a target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. Magic designer Mark Rosewater helped design Lord of the Undead because he wanted a better zombie lord. Neither Zombie Master nor Lord of the Undead saw success in competitive Magic. However, Lord of the Undead proved to be a good design as more zombie lords were printed, with the first being Undead Warchief. This zombie lord was part of a cycle of Warchief creatures from Onslaught block's third set, Scourge. Although it costs 1 more mana than Lord of Undead, Undead Warchief gives a bigger bonus of +2/+1 to all zombies, including itself, and zombie spells cost you 1 generic mana less to cast. It took several years before we saw the next zombie lord, Death Baron, which was released in Shards of Alara. The Baron gives other zombies +1/+1 and Death Touch. Now with 3 unique zombie lords, the Undead tribe was starting to grow in power, especially in formats like Commander. A year after Shards released came Magic Core Set 2010, which brought in our 4th lord, Cemetery Reaper. It too gives other zombies +1/+1 and has the ability to create a 2/2 zombie creature token when you tap it and exile a creature card from any graveyard. With 4 unique lord cards, zombies started becoming a strong tribe, but they were still nowhere near being competitive, but that changed when Innistrad block was released in 2011. The horror-themed set came with a ton of new zombies, both in black and blue. This wasn't the first time zombies were just mono black. However, having more zombies in different colors was great progress for the Undead tribe. When Dark Ascension released in 2012, the 5th zombie lord was introduced. Just like Undead Warchief, Diregraph Captain was part of a cycle. This card was the first zombie lord to be multicolored. It also came with Death Touch and lets a target opponent lose 1 life whenever a zombie you control dies. When original Innistrad block was in Standard, zombies started seeing competitive play. Most of these aggressive black decks used one of the best black 1-drops we've ever seen, Gravecrawler. Also printed in Dark Ascension, Gravecrawler is a 2/1 that can't block and can be cast from your graveyard as long as you control another zombie on the battlefield. A great creature for aggressive black decks. Gravecrawler was also an incredibly flavorful card. Although it saw success in competitive Magic, it's probably more remembered for its iconic art and flavor. We can't leave Innistrad block without mentioning Geralf's Messenger. Also a component in the aggressive black decks, Geralf's Messenger was a great attrition card that would slowly whittle the opponent's life away. Not a huge game changer like Gravecrawler, because it came with the iconic 1-drop, it enabled zombies to finally see some play in tournaments. Lord of the Accursed is considered one of the best zombie lords. It gives all other zombies you control +1/+1, and it also has the ability to give all zombies Menace, which is a powerful ability, especially when you are looking to swing for the kill. Its greatest achievement was when Magic Pro player Jerry Thompson won Pro Tour Amonkhet in 2017. Jerry's deck was mono-black zombies that included cards from an Amonkhet, and Shadows over Innistrad was legal in Standard. This deck was aggressive and had the legs to grind out a long game. Winning a Pro Tour piloting a tribal deck was a rare feat, especially with a tribe that has a history of barely winning any tournaments. Another card from Jerry's Pro Tour winning deck worthy of mention is Diregraph Colossus. This zombie was an incredible card to play early and late, thanks to its 2 powerful abilities. The first ability gives Diregraph Colossus +1/+1 counters equal to the number of zombie cards in your graveyard when it enters the battlefield. The second ability puts a 2/2 zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped whenever you cast a zombie spell. Very powerful, Diregraph Colossus deserved all the success it got and still sees a lot of play to this day. Let's move on to the ancient Greece-themed set Theros. During this era, Mono Black was king thanks to Pack Rat, Desecration Demon, and Grey Merchant of Asphodel. A common card from Theros, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, was an all-star in limited formats, Pauper, the common's only format, and Standard. The reason why this zombie was so good was from its devotion ability that drains life from your opponents equal to the amount of black mana symbols on all permanents you control. Today, this card still sees a lot of play in Pauper and Commander. When Fate Reforged released, the Magic community already knew how powerful the ability Delve was, but it still took a while before people started seeing how broken a 5/5 for 1 black mana could be. It happened at Pro Tour Fate Reforged when Magic Hall of Famer Patrick Chapin championed Gurmag Angler in the modern portion of the tournament. It didn't take long to catch on as the innovators started playing the 5/5 zombie fish for only 1 black mana. From there, Gurmag Angler became one of the best finishers, especially in older formats such as Legacy and Vintage. Dredge has been often described as one of the most broken keyword mechanics the game has ever created. When Modern was first introduced in 2011, Magic kept a lock on the Dredge ability, but when Shadows over Innistrad released in 2016, the card Prized Amalgam rose Dredge back from the grave. Some may claim it was perfect timing, because Golgari Grave Troll was unbanned in Modern right before Prized Amalgam was printed. The reason why Prized Amalgam helped Dredge become a viable deck was because it's a great finisher. As a Dredge player, all you have to do is dredge up the card Narcomoeba, which will enter the battlefield from the graveyard for free. When this happens, it triggers any amalgams that are also in the graveyard to enter the battlefield at the end of turn. This would overwhelm your opponent, and the creatures would be very hard to get rid of since they return to play if they're in the graveyard. Our last zombie card was recently printed, and we believe it could be a very powerful component in competitive zombie tribal decks. Printed in Innistrad, Midnight Hunt, Champion of the Parish, plays just like its counterpart from original Innistrad, except instead of every human, it's every zombie. We know how great Champion of the Parish is in human tribal decks, especially over the years when more human cards were printed, so we're predicting its undead counterpart will do the same. Well, that is it for zombies. We hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Jonathan Beach voicing this episode. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate any support, and we'll have more Magic videos in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.